Sabi ko, ganito ba talaga sa Canada? The more income you have, the more taxes you need to pay. Parang lang, alam mo yun, nag-open lang ako. Then sabi niya sa akin, Rev, if you're giving an opportunity to own a business, sabi niya, do it. Kasi that's the only way you can leverage tax. So, syempre, that time, hindi ko pa maintindihan. Ano ba naman ako? Ang alam ko lang magtrabaho. Ang alam ko lang, alam mo yun, ito lang yung sweldo ko at the end of the month, ito lang yung natitira. Paano pa ako sabi ko, ano namang klaseng negosyo ang sisimulan namin, di ba?
Kumusta kabayan? Welcome to Kabayan K, the podcast where we share kwento, sip some kape, and dive deep into life here in Canada. Every week, we'll sit down with inspiring Filipino Canadians as they share their journey from the challenges of being a newcomer to the successes they have built here in the Great White North. Okay, good day mga kabayan. Sa ating episode ngayon ng Kape, Kwentuhan at Canada, kasama natin ang ating kaibigan na si Reveline Tangan Needham. At matagal ko na siyang kaibigan at kakilala. And nasa about 16 years na ngayong August si Reveline. And Ubong Caloocan, so shout out sa mga taga Caloocan, Manila. At Rev, kumusta?
Hi, Eric. Fred. Magandang umaga, magandang hapon, magandang gabi. I don't know kung anong oras niyo po ito mapapanood. Shout out po sa mga taga Caloocan dyan. So, thank you, Eric. Thank you, bro, for this opportunity. So,
So, sinasabi ko nga kanina kay Sister Rev, itong kwentuhan naman natin is very informal. We were just gonna ask her dun sa experience niya dito sa Canada, knowing na especially so magsi 16 years na siya, so meron na rin siyang yung sa experience niya dito sa Canada, yung life journey niya in sa family, sa work, sa kanyang generally sa buhay niya, and sana may mapulot yung mga makakapanood na nagpaplanong pumunta dito sa Canada or yung mga new immigrants na nandito na sa Canada. So Rev, nung dumating ka dito sa Canada, kwento mo naman paano ka nakarating dito at paano yung experience mo?
Okay. So, dumating ako dito sa Canada, bro, August 16, 2009. I cannot forget that date kasi birthday yan ng kapatid ko. So actually, pagpunta ko dito sa Canada, nag-start ako sa Hong Kong. So from Hong Kong, Canada, hindi na ako I didn't have a chance na umuwi ng Pilipinas that time because it's a short notice, right? So yun, actually, dapat i-sponsoran ako ng auntie ko na nandito sa Scarborough. Pero apparently hindi nag-go through yung process. So nag-apply ako ng sarili ko.
Oh, nice.
Oo, nag-apply ako sa sarili ko. At the same time, I'm so grateful, bro, kasi yung nag-sponsor sa akin, they're Italian. Actually, shout out sa Marsala family. Nasa Woodbridge ako actually, yung dumating ako dito sa Canada. And dumating ako ng August, so yung transition medyo maganda. Kasi dumating ako summer, right? Alam mo yung weather, yun kasi nakakatakot di ba? So, yung transition ko, at saka syempre yung sa Hong Kong din, maganda din naman ang weather doon. So, very smooth yung transition ko nung dumating ako. At the same time, nung dumating kasi ako, nagsik talaga ako ng community. Kasi way back sa Pilipinas, member na talaga ako ng Catholic singles group yung community na yon. Then when I work sa Hong Kong, part din ako ng community. So parang talagang especially when you're going to a different country, di ba?
Mhm.
So yun, nakatulong sa akin yung community when I started here in Canada.
Very nice, very nice. So, at least ba yung transition mo from Hong Kong to Canada is smooth, and yung weather, right? Kasi based dun sa mga na-interview ko din before na dumating dito ng winter, so medyo na-shock sila kasi for us, like coming from a tropical country, and then Hong Kong naman, mild din naman dyan. May winter ba kayo sa Hong Kong nun, or?
Wala. Ang ano doon, siguro pinakamababa na temperature na experience ko, siguro mga 15, ganun. Kasi hindi nagstay ako sa Hong Kong, medyo part din ng medyo rural area. So at the same time, yung employer ko doon, Chinese Canadian. So na sila modern.
Kwento mo nga so you're working as a caregiver that time sa Italian family sa Woodbridge. How was it na yung, I know hindi ka na masyadong nahirapan, pero was there any particular experience na pwede mong i-share, especially dun sa mga Filipinos na nandito as caregiver as well? Ano yung experience mo, and any advice or tips for them?
Okay. So, actually, kasi I don't know, yung personality ko kasi when I started, parang bago ako dumating kasi ng Canada, I search yung weather, I search alam mo yun, kung ano yung ma-expect ko.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, parang piniprepare ko na yung sarili ko dun sa situation. So, ang maganda lang kasi, and I'm so grateful, bro, na yung family na nag-sponsor sa akin, they're really family-oriented.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, hindi naman nagkakalayo yung tradition nila sa tradition natin na sa Pilipino, di ba? They love food, given na yan. Yeah, they love food. Actually, I missed it kasi talagang sabi nga nila medyo tumaba ako doon kasi alam mo yun, food is life sa mga Italian. So at the same time, kasi nag-alaga kasi ako ng matanda. So yung parents, yung mother nung babae ang inalagaan ko. So alam mo yun, yung kwentuhan with elderly, kinukwento nila yung buhay nila when I started here in Canada. Alam mo yun, yung buhay nila dati sa Italy. Pero parang hindi nagkakalayo doon sa background natin na sa Pilipino. So, parang, alam mo yun, ganito pala yan. Lalo na sila nung nag-i-start sila dito sa Canada. Alam mo yun, yung mga trabaho nila, simple lang, right? Pero at the end of the day, still family, right? At the same time, nakatulong din yung community natin na naging malapit tayo sa kay Lord, na regardless what experience, what struggle sa pamilya sa Pilipinas, you're always there. God is always there to guide you, to help you, di ba? At saka siguro ang nakatulong din, bro, is we need to be open-minded. Na we don't want to just settle for what we have right now. Learning to experience, learning to hear experience from others. I think yun yung magandang way na to be able for us to grow. Yung, alam mo, katulad ikaw, yung mga sinishare mo na information, that's really valuable. Right? Make time na makinig, along the way, yung mga information na yan, it will help us, right? So,
I agree with you na similar tayo kasi yung background natin as Catholics, right? I just came from Italy as well. Nandoon yung sister-in-law ko. So shout out sa dalawa ko sister-in-law. Thank you for taking care of us sa Italy. And nakita ko talaga yung love. Yung sinabi mo na love of food. They're talaga pag family.
generous.
Yeah, generous ang mga servings, and pag talagang nagse-celebrate or even get-togethers, talagang yung family, malalaking family nagsasama-sama, and it's nakakatuwang makita, right? And it's very common din naman sa atin sa mga Pilipino yung ganun tradition, right? So you mentioned na a big part of na nakatulong sa'yo dito is yung sa community and then also dun sa faith kay Lord. So kwento mo nga sis, meron ka bang what particular way or experience na nakatulong sa'yo yung faith mo and yung sa community as a Singles for Christ?
Okay. Siguro mas marami akong challenges nung kumbaga nung nag-open permit na ako, tapos I'm starting to transition from yung nakalabas na ako as dun sa caregiver program. Kasi yung iba ang kasi pag nakalabas ka na, you can do whatever you want, right? Which is okay din naman yun. Kumbaga nagkaroon ka ng kumbaga yung door of opportunity nandyan na. Pero pagdating din naman meron din pros and cons. Kasi nung dati caregiver ako, libre ako sa bahay, di ba? Weekend lang ako nagre-rent, pero pag nakalabas ka na kasi doon sa caregiver program, sarili mo na yung yung board and lodging, yung food mo, di ba? So doon na, and at the same time, I'm also helping my families back home. I'm the eldest among 5 children. At the same time, I'm thankful din kasi yung mga kapatid ko, they're also helping in between, di ba? Pero pag sarili mo na din talaga, sarili mo na ang gastos. At saka alam mo bro, ang hindi ko naman sinasabing mali, but that time kasi wala pa akong financial knowledge. That time when I started. Kumbaga, sweldo ko, magpadala sa Pilipinas, 'di ba? Pag may nakikita ako diyang pera, sige lang, alam mo 'yon. Alam mo naman, single
life.
Oo, punta dito, punta doon, which is okay naman. I really enjoy. I don't regret with that. But one thing I regret is wala akong knowledge about finances. Hindi ko na kumbaga, syempre nag-iipon kasi ang ko noon is matulungan ko yung family ko sa Pilipinas eh. At the same time, kailangan din pala natin na magtira din tayo sa sarili natin. At the same time, alam mo yon, yung sabi nga nila pag may naipon, may mahuhugot. And ayun yung yun yung parang experience na sana noon pa, alam mo yun, sana merong sa akin nag-educate. Okay? And kasi lalo na pag dumating yung sa point na mag-aasawa, yun na magkakaroon ng pamilya, 'di ba? Magiging busy na tayo. At saka as a ito pa bro, nung nag-asawa ko, right? I'm thankful sa husband ko kasi din siya simple lang. Alam mo yun? Hindi niya masyado ang pagkain sa labas, maganyan. Nung nag-start na nag-struggle yung when we become a homeowner. I don't know if some people can relate. Pag naging homeowner tayo, nakasama na dapat diyan yung dapat marunong na tayong magtabi. Marunong na we really know about the unconscious spending. Right? Kasi hindi lang ito yung bumili ka ng bahay, tapos hindi kontrolado.
Doon na yun. Oo, doon na matatapos.
Hindi kontrolado yung mga expenses, di ba? Which is, alam mo yun, okay, actually, shout out with our Ninang Anita. Kasi siya talaga yung nag-push sa amin ni Kevin na, mag-aasawa kayo, di dapat meron na kayong tirahan. Di ba? Sabi ko, kasi in-offer niya sa amin yung bahay, parang June, tapos December magkakasal kami sa Pilipinas. So sabi ko, paano naman yun? Sabi niya sa akin, alam mo, maganda na okay lang, simplihan nyo lang yung kasal. And then, para pagbalik nyo, galing Pilipinas, meron kayong bahay. So, alam mo yun, sabi ko, paano yan? So, kinumbay namin lahat ng mga ano namin, mga konti naming savings. Then yun, pagdating namin ng ng Canada, yeah, meron na kaming bahay. Pero doon talaga nag-start yung I need to work 3 jobs. That time, I need to 3. Then yung auntie ko na nasa healthcare, she's a nurse in Toronto dyan. Sabi niya sa akin, bro, hindi pwedeng 3 trabaho mo, kailangan mo mag-upgrade. You need to take nursing, sabi niya sa akin. No, I don't like nursing. So nag-search ako ano yung pwedeng course na related din sa healthcare. And yun nga, kumuha ako ng medical administrator that time. Can you imagine, bro? Trabaho ako during the day, tapos aral ako sa gabi. Doon yung, alam mo yun, yung uupo lang ako, magdi-dinner kami mag-asawa, tapos takbo ako sa school. Yun yung routine namin every day. Then, weekend kailangan ko pa rin mag-part-time. Tapos, syempre, it's nice kasi natapos ko yung course na yun ng like more than a year kasama yung training, mga ganon. Pero alam mo yun then I work in a healthcare. Don't get me wrong, I love what I do being part of the healthcare. Pero I just realized parang konti lang din naman ang nadagdag dun kasi syempre kapag nag-start naman tayo kahit anong career, we don't expect na alam mo yun yung sahod malaki kaagad, 'di ba?
True.
Start from the very beginning, which is I don't mind, pero I realize, so sabi ko, ganun pala talaga din yun, no? Yeah, you upgrade, you increase your income, and then that's it. And then still living paycheck to paycheck. Alam mo, no? Kasi ngayon may connection pa rin kami ng mga amo ko, and then they have a business actually. Then one time, they invite me and Kevin for dinner. Parang ano lang ba, hi, hello. Then sabi, parang siguro nakadami na rin ako ng wine kasi alam mo naman doon, pag nagkakasama kami, dami wine, di ba?
Yeah. Italians are like that eh. Kasama parati sa dinner or lunch, merong glass of wine.
Yeah, parang tubig lang sa kanila yung wine. So siguro, I don't know, baka marami na rin na inom ko. Pero nag-open ako. So sabi ko dun sa boss ko. Sabi ko, ganito ba talaga sa Canada? The more income you have, the more taxes you need to pay. Parang lang, alam mo yun, nag-open lang ako. Then sabi niya sa akin, Rev, if you're giving an opportunity to own a business, sabi niya, do it. Kasi that's the only way you can leverage tax. So, syempre, that time, hindi ko pa maintindihan. Ano ba naman ako? Ang alam ko lang magtrabaho. Ang alam ko lang, alam mo yun, ito lang yung sweldo ko at the end of the month, ito lang yung natitira. Paano pa ako sabi ko, ano namang klaseng negosyo ang sisimulan namin, 'di ba? Pero yung sinabi niya sa akin yun, parang nag-stick yun sa mind ko. And as we go along, parang nag-aano na sa akin kasi ever since naman, bro, kahit sa Pilipinas, nag-start din ako ng mga maliliit pa yung tinda-tindahan, sari-sari.
Business, yes.
Oo.
So,
Kasi yung mama ko dati, stay home, pero nagtitinda-tinda siya sa school. So, we brought up like that na magtitinda-tinda. I remember nung childhood ko, pag nagluluto si mama, nagpapak din ako ng mga ititinda ko sa classroom. Right? So, we brought up like that na may mga negosyo ng konti, maliliit.
Oo.
Okay.
Dun sa kasi you mentioned, right, from caregiver, hindi ka nag-stick sa pagiging caregiver because I've nothing wrong with that, pero may mga kilala rin ako na gano'n na na kontento na dun sa stage na caregiver, dun sa babysitter kasi yung income mo yun na right? Sometimes talaga malinis na, minsan may cash pang kasama. So if you think about it, parang komportable ka na just maintain yung pagiging yung ganong klase na ganong trabaho. Even though alam ko na yung iba sa kanila merong background sa nursing, pharmacy, or whatever na engineering, or yung may mga ganong courses or profession back home. pero they decided to stick na lang dun, they decided to stick dun sa job na yun. But again, nothing wrong with that. To each his own or her own. Yun yung gusto ko malaman, sa yung situation, right? Bakit mo pa naisipan na mag-aspire na, to find another career? Is it because you wanna prove to someone or na kaya mo, or what was it? What was your goal? What made you
Okay.
decide?
Yeah, kasi I make decide na to be continue to move forward. Kasi unang-una, I'm starting a family, right? At the same time, syempre may asawa ko. Ang goal ko din kasi, bro, is to be able to help my family back. You probably agree with me na kahit ano yung buhay natin dito sa Canada, we still need to help our family. Kasi marami akong plans, especially my parents. Alam mo naman sa Pilipinas, pag may nagkasakit, alam mo yun, may nagkasakit and my parents still alive, thank God. Pero I have goals and dreams para sa kanila. Na kasi yung parents ko, they don't, sabihin na natin na hindi sila din nakaipon. So kumbaga, pag may sakit, kami yung tumutulong magkakapatid, right? So, gusto ko yung bang mailabas ko yung parents ko, madala ko sila somewhere kasi hindi alam mo yun, yung ganon. Sabi ko along the way, kung mag-i-stick lang ako as an employee, yes, it will provide yung daily expenses, bills ko, yes. Pero yung extended family ko or my goals later on for my kids cannot provide kung mag-i-stick lang ako as an employee.
Yeah, so knowing what you know now, sis, tapos na-experience mo, naikwento mo kanina na nagpapadala ka sa Pilipinas, especially nung single ka, right? I guess malaking part nung sweldo mo pinapadala mo sa Pilipinas, and now you're in this situation na may pamilya ka na din, and meron ka na ring background sa finance. Knowing what you know now, what difference or what different strategy would you do na kung may man nakikinig sa atin na new Canadians dito na meron ding similar situation na may pamilya sa Pilipinas na gustong tulungan, papaano or what would you change do sa situation mo nung ginagawa mo yung nagpapadala ka versus now na meron ka ng financial background? What would you advise?
Okay. That's good, bro. Okay, unang-una is, syempre, kasi kapag isa lang kasi yung source of income, is so hard. Kahit baliktadin mo yung kung yun lang talaga nakukuhanan ng income. Kumbaga, one source of income is so hard. Kahit ilang beses ka magtipid dyan, ganun pa rin. Ngayon, first and foremost, kasi ano yung goals mo? Sino yung mga kailangan mong tulungan? Ngayon, kung isa lang yung income mo, you need to add more. Kasi kung hindi ka kasya, yung income mo na ngayon, hindi talaga. Kumbaga, hindi ma-extend yung help mo sa iba. Right? And then, kung gusto mo talagang makatulong sa iba, kailangan magkaroon ka ng extra, it's either side hustle or something. At the same time, alam mo, ang isang natutunan ko dito, bro, sa Canada or North America, it's not how much we earn, but how knowledgeable we are to take care that hard-earned money. Yung iba, malaki nga sweldo, ganito yung sweldo, pero expenses naman nila ganito, right? So then sasabihin nila, paano nga ba makakatipid, Reb? Eto na nga. Then, I educate people how to be aware about their unconscious spending. Right? Alam mo yung pakapi-kapi sa Tim Hortons or Starbucks, yeah, it's okay, it's fine. But can you imagine, pag nag-accumulate yan a month, including pa ng skip the dish, including pang eat yung pagkain-kain sa, sa labas.
Sa labas,
He doesn't mind, but we need to be aware of our, spending habit. Because you probably agree with me, spending is a habit, right?
Mhm.
So, we need to know that. Kasi kapag tayo naging aware, at least kahit papano, yung budget natin, kahit papano, meron tayong maitatabi. Right?
Totoo, yeah.
At the same time, ano yung goal mo? Kung ang goal mo is bumili ka ng bahay, mag-start ka mag-save. Yung iba, kasi yung iba, I want to buy a house in the next 5 years. But, what plan are you doing? Like, anong ginagawa mo ngayon? Hindi
Yung
ka
mga steps.
Yes, it's a gradual step, and we need to be, we need to be clear. We need to have clarity. Ano ba yung goals natin in the next 5-10 years? And depende yun sa ginagawa natin ngayon. Ano yung step na ginagawa natin ngayon? Right?
Totoo, right.
Nasagot mo ba?
Nasagot mo naman. Kasi nga tama naman yung sinabi mo like yung salary mo kasi it's yun na yun You cannot expand that to para magamit mo sa different stuff. Napakaganda nung sinabi mo na yung natutunan mo dun sa former employer mo na about setting up a business kasi like you said, it's not just a matter of how much you earn but how much you keep after taxes, right? And ang galing kasi one way to address yung sa taxes dito kasi is to pay less taxes is to have a business income. I don't know if you've heard of or if you've read yung kay Robert Kiyosaki na yung mga 4 quadrants of it's a very a very good book kasi dinivide niya sa quadrants yung income ng self-employed, yung employed, and then yung business owner. Anyhow, nakakatuwa kasi yung transition mo right from dun sa caregiver, employed sa healthcare, and now you're a financial advisor. Dun sa pagiging financial advisor mo, sis, kwento mo naman paano ka, how did you get into that, and ano yung mga common challenges na nakikita mo in terms of sa mga kababayan natin dito sa Canada?
Okay, so it's I'm so thankful kasi someone approached me. Actually, yung nag-approach sa akin kasi she works in a bank. Okay, she works in a bank. Kapitbahay ko siya dati sa Mississauga. And then that time, nung in-approach niya, but prior for this, I've been in different business too. So, there's nothing wrong with that. Pero nung in-approach niya ako, then she shared the concept, she shared the knowledge, yung financial literacy. Sabi ko sa sarili ko, wow, ito yung something na I don't have. I'm really lack of financial knowledge. Yes, I have entrepreneur mindset, but I'm lack of financial knowledge. Then may mga concept na talagang hindi ko walang nagturo sa akin. Hindi tinuro sa eskwela, hindi tinuro even my financial advisor in the bank, hindi nila yung sinabi. So sabi ko, wow, lalo lang yung kahit yung rule of 72 lang, 'di ba? I don't know if you're for sure you're
compounding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sabi ko, wow, ganun pala. Parang work lang ako ng work. At the end of the day, parang mas, kung saan ko man ilagay yung pera ko, parang sila yung sila pa yung nakakapag-benefit. Sabi ko, gusto ko tong aralin. And that time, bro, I'm on maternity leave. COVID pa yon that time, COVID. So, can you imagine? So, sabi ko, syempre, yung iba, lahat worried, lahat, ano mo yon. So, sabi ko, gusto ko pag-aralan ito. Na, can you imagine, I'm taking care of my newborn, pero on my spare time, I put myself into learning. Kaya, during COVID, naging busy ako. Busy on learning and growing myself. Then, ang ano ko doon, bro, marami akong natutunan. Actually, na-value ko yung mission ng company na financial knowledge is very important. Especially this time. Alam mo, meron akong I sit down with young, millennial, I sit down with dun sa papunta na sa retirement. Sad to say, alam mo, nandun na sila sa kumbaga, sabihin na natin nasa 50s na. And then alam mo naman dito sa Canada, pag tinanong mo sila, what is your ideal age to retire? Sasabihin nila, 60, 65. Pero because of the cost of living, sabi nila, no, I don't think I can retire at 65. I think 70, something like that. Kasi nga, kumbaga hindi na ipaliwanag ng maaga o hindi nila natutunan ng maaga how to start saving. Kaya yung retirement age kumbaga increase, right? So sabi ko, I'm on 40s right now. Sabi ko, sabihin na natin 65, in the next 15 years, if I'm just stuck to, don't get me wrong, it's good to have a job. That's okay. But we need to make sure that we're doing something on the side. It's either we're learning how our savings to grow, para at least meron tayong, we're looking forward to have a comfortable retirement.
Totoo.
Yun naman yung doon eh. It's not to being rich or whatever, but to have a comfortable retirement. Minsan sinasabi nila, alam mo, gusto ko lang yung simpleng buhay. But what is the simple life right now, bro? Kung bang nakakabayad tayo ng bills on time, that's a simple lifestyle, right? But we need to understand the cost of living. It's continue to rise. Kasi yung, I think, kulang eh. Hindi natin masyadong naintindihan yung inflation. Na yung kape ngayon, yung Tim Hortons, we can buy $2, right? But after 5-10 years, do you think there's still $2? So if we're just, settle in what savings we have in the next 5-10 years, hindi na yung kakasya, right? And that's the time some people, even they're in the retirement age, they cannot retire because, kulang. Kasi you probably agree with me, kapag na-reach natin yung retirement, do you think the expenses will retire too? Hindi naman, di ba? Magbabayad pa rin tayong utilities, magpapagasolina pa rin tayo, di ba? Mag-grocery pa rin tayo, di ba? So those are the things that we need to consider. Yeah, meron tayong mga, we're so lucky nga dito sa Canada kasi meron tayong mga government assistance, meron tayong CPP, OAS. Pero by the time na mag-retire tayo, what is our assurance na meron pa rin ganun, di ba?
Yeah.
Or kung meron man, kakasya kaya. Diba?
Yeah, that's good.
Yun yung mga na-realize ko. Kaya sabi ko dito kay asawa, sabi ko, we cannot just rely on that. At saka, you probably agree with me, this is Canada. Right? Yeah, meron tayong mga anak. Ito pa yung isang din eh. Etong anak ko, doktor to, o kaya engineer. But how assured we are that our kids na dito lumaki will take care of us. Kasi mag-aasawa na yung mga yan, may sarili na silang responsibility. So ngayon, kung hindi natin sila tuturuan how to take care of their hard-earned money, do you think they will take care of us too? Hindi, di ba? Kasi alam mo bro, nakita ko dun sa mga naging nakasama ko sa boss ko, di ba? Nakita ko yung transition ng mga bata. Then sabi ko, may anak kami ngayon, but meron na siyang responsibility by the time na dumating siya sa, sa tamang edad, meron na siyang responsibility. So I don't want me and my husband become her burden. So it's our responsibility to take care ourselves pagdating ng panahon na magre-retire tayo.
Yeah, I agree. Kasi let's face it, kumbaga tayo in a traditional Filipino values, yung traditional Filipino values kasi natin is we take care of our, parents. So sometimes merong conflict diyan eh. Yun, so okay, balik tayo ulit. So yan, nakabalik na tayo sa ating usapan dito sa Kape, Kwentuhan at Canada. So maituloy ko lang, so kasi tayong mga Filipinos, right? Yung sa traditional value natin, we take care of the parents, right? Tayo yung inaasahan pagka nag-retire sila. Like maganda yung nabanggit mo nga na kasi dito sa Canada, at saka sa personal situation mo na you make it a point na mapag-usapan yung mag-asawa na to prepare for your retirement, and you don't want to be a burden dun sa anak mo, which is very admirable kasi let's face it, may mga situation kasi na tayo ay inaasahan ng mga magulang sa kanilang retirement, and there's nothing wrong with helping them, but also kung sa situation natin as ngayon na Filipino Canadians, we need to save up to save for do sa retirement natin para hindi tayo umasa dun sa mga anak natin kasi meron silang magiging sariling pamilya, right? Na may sarili silang buhay pag sila ay lumaki na. It's a good thing na natutunan mo, 'di ba, dito sa Canada kasi at least meron tayong na-expose tayo dito sa financial education, financial literacy na sinasabi mo nga kasi pagka everyday nagtatrabaho ka lang, you're not aware. Kahit doon sa Pilipinas, we were never aware of inflation and how
Yes.
it erodes yung
Mhm.
yung value ng pera mo. But because you've learned so much here sa Canada, now kailangan mo na malaman itong inflation na to, na we're living in a debt-driven economy. Those things nga kailangan meron ka mga knowledge right? Kasi otherwise magre-retire ka na nagising ka na lang ng isang umaga, wow, in a year or so magre-retire na ako. Ano bang, may savings ako pero hindi mo alam na yung na-save mong pera because it's in a checking account or savings account, it's not growing. It's not keeping up with
Sleeping,
the
actually, it's sleeping.
inflation. Yeah, it's yung $100,000 mo 10 years ago, hindi na the same amount of goods ang mabibili ng 100,000 mo ngayon, and 10 years, 20 years from now, maliit na yung value niyan. Nakakatuwa na in your own case, 'di ba? Na natutunan mo 'yan, natutunan ko na rin 'to, and something that you share doon sa mga clients mo, right? Now, meron ka pa bang gustong idagdag, sis, before we move on to another, topic?
Yeah, actually, as you know, bro, it's totally different from healthcare, and then I
Mhm.
jumped to financial industry, right? Actually, um, uh, I'm more okay to say that I'm financial educator than
Mhm.
advisor,
Mhm.
because right now I rather educate and share the financial education and awareness to people, in different backgrounds. At saka ang ano doon, bro, is yung willingness for us to learn.
Mhm.
Kasi if if we share the knowledge and then you don't take action, you don't, sabi nga nila, hindi magiging valid yung tinuro sa if you don't apply,
Mhm.
right? Kasi ako natutunan ko, I do it I apply it to myself, then na-experience ko, oh, ganito pala talaga. Ito pala yung dapat pala ganito. And then I share that to others kasi na-experience ko siya. Right? Kasi I think yun yung pinaka first na maging open tayo on learning things. Kasi
Mhm.
if not, there's nothing we can do.
Mhm.
Even there's, katulad yung mga information na share mo, kung hindi natin siya pakikinggan, kung hindi natin siya kung hindi tayo magiging aware, what we gonna do? Right?
So you need to take action at the
Yes.
same
Yes.
time.
At the end of
You
the day, take action.
Yeah, you can learn so much. You
Yeah.
can go to YouTube
Mhm.
or enroll in a course. But if, like you said, hindi mo naman gagawin yon, then there's no point, right? Dun
Mhm.
sa yung natutunan or yung knowledge na nakuha mo. And dun sa inyo ni Kevin, right? So sa mga hindi nakakakilala kasi, si Kevin he's not Filipino, right? Um, Nahirapan ka ba or nahirapan ba kayo sa transition nyo from yung relationship nyo sa boyfriend girlfriend, tas na ngayon mag-asawa na kayo, right? So ano yung share mo naman yung experience mo for as a Filipino Canadian na you're married to a non-Filipino, right? Ano yung may experience mo para doon sa mga nakikinig sa atin na baka in the same situation na Filipino Canadians or Filipinos na new dito. Ano yung share mo, sis?
Okay, nako, actually nagsabi ako kay Kevin that you will interview me, right? So for sure, he will be in the topic. So si Kevin, my husband kasi, hindi ako nahirapan kasi una, nag-adapt siya. He likes rice. Actually,
That's good.
so to tell you honestly, bro, mas very good siya magluto ng rice kesa sa akin. Can you imagine? Ako, pag nagluto ako ng rice, laging may tutong, may ano. Pero siya, na hindi siya,
Perfect.
he knows how to cook rice na walang ano yung bottom, right? Sabi ko, wow, ako na lumaki na magluto ng rice, laging may tutong, di ba? Let's face it. Pero siya, pag nagluto siya ng rice, talagang, very, ano ang tawag nila, very, basta maganda yung
Basta maganda yung yung pagkakaluto. Ano yung favorite na yung pagkain na na gustong-gusto niya sa Filipino food?
Oh, actually ganito. He likes fish.
Oh, nice.
Actually, nung umuwi kami ng Pilipinas, mas gusto niya magstay sa Pangasinan because my lola is in Pangasinan, in Alaminos. So we're close to the beach.
Oh, maraming doon, maraming my wife si Iris sa taga Pangasinan din.
Yes, I know, So
Alaminos is very famous din sa maraming mga pagkain seafoods yan.
Kung mag-tricycle lang papunta na doon sa may beach, di may lookup yata yung tawag doon. So pag umuwi kami, gustong-gusto doon ng husband ko. He doesn't like in the city. He likes, yung mga bangus, di ba? Prito, ano pa ba? Yung inihaw, di ba? Tapos, ang gusto ko lang sa asawa ko, he likes vegetable.
Oh, nice.
He likes vegetable, yung talbos, mga ganyan. Gusto niya yan.
Yes,
Oo,
nice.
tapos, yung mga isda nga, right? He really, actually, nung first date namin dyan sa Toronto, expected ko, syempre, Canadian, di ba? Expected ko dadalhin niya ako sa Swiss Chalet o kaya sa mga fast food. Pero alam mo, I'm so surprised. Dinala niya ako sa Japanese, sa sushi. Dinala niya ako. So, yun yung first date namin, dinala niya ako. Actually, I'm so surprised. Sabi niya, saan mo gustong kumain? Ikaw, bahala ka. Dinala niya ako dun sa sushi place, dun sa may Dufferin. Actually, ano pa nga yan eh. Okay, open pa sila until now. So, dinala niya ako doon. Tapos, ano man na nakakatawa, nag-request talaga siya ng chopstick. Tapos, nung nakita ko siya, my God, his experience. Experience. Sabi ko, ay, gutom lang ako. I need the pork. Sabi ko, pasensya ka na kasi gutom talaga ako. I don't feel to use the chopstick. Pero alam mo, pinagmamasan ko siya. Naku, talagang master niya yung chopstick. Kasi kaya pala, dahil once in a while, they order Asian food.
Yes.
Yeah, they order sushi. So kaya master niya yung chopstick.
As a family, sis, ano yung I guess masasabi mo na favorite hangout nyo kayong pamilya, or ano yung mga gusto nyong ginagawa every winter, summer? Ano ba yung, I know you mentioned si Kevin hindi masyadong mahilig lumabas, but maybe you and your daughter, or si Kevin, kung sumasama siya, saan kayo pumupunta? Ano yung spots para at least kung ma-share mo dun sa mga kababayan natin na gustong lumabas minsan?
Oo. So,
good evening mga kabayan dyan na nanonood, at nagkaroon ng konting technical challenges. So yung last part ng aking interview kay Sister Evelyn is i-continue lang namin. And Sis Rev, so you mentioned na kayo ni Mary, kayo yung very outgoing, and this is Kevin, I feel Kevin, like I've known him for a while. Ganon din ako, like sometimes I feel like work and then I just want to lie down sa couch and then watch, just iwanan yung mga trabaho and stuff, right? But
Mm.
para lang doon sa mga mga nanonood na kababayan natin na Filipinos, Filipino-Canadian, yung mga bago at yung mga padating. Ano yung mga favorite pastime nyo ni Mary or ni Kevin? Saan kayo nagpupunta? Just in case, pakishare mo lang kung ano yung mga pinupuntahan nyo or favorite na restaurant, kanyan.
Okay. So, actually, dati kasi, di ba sa Toronto pa rin kami nakatira ni Kevin.
Oo.
Usually, ang pinupuntahan namin dyan sa area na yan, yung Earl Base Park.
Yes.
Yung pero kami ni Kevin, meron kaming favorite spot na pinupuntahan na hindi masyadong alam ng iba. Doon kami dumadaan sa may along Shepherd, yung pababa.
Yes,
Kasi
yes.
meron doon, alam mo ba yan? Yung
Para may
usually
trail
yung
doon
mga tao, doon kami. Kumbaga doon kami sa quiet part ng Elways. Doon yan I think, yun yung pinakababa na doon sa may hill na usually nagtotobogan usually.
Toboganing skiing, yes.
Oh, yes. Doon kami sa pinakababa na, and then we walk close, meron dong parang lake or man-made lake, parang gano'n. So yun, talagang ever since we go to the place na hindi masyadong crowded. And when we moved to Mississauga, same thing. Nandun naman yung dati namin property, likod nun is lake.
Oh, nice.
Tapos trails. Annually si Mary, actually nung kasi during pandemic nung dumating siya, we're surrounded with trees, trails, lake, so yun. And then when we move here dito sa Halton Hills, we're so grateful. We're surrounded with farms, yung mga conservation area. So, yun. Simple lifestyle. Parang gano'n.
Nakakatuwa sa inyo kasi, sa mga nakakapanood kasi even though sometimes talaga na hindi reason na, yung pera, yung budget, ganyan eh. Kasi Canada is very rich in natural resources, parks, right? Pwede ka mag-camping, pumunta sa lake, sa simple stuff na you can do with your family. And besides that, sis, I know si Kevin, you mentioned before na he likes sushi, right? Any other, maybe Filipino or other, other food, Italian or ano pa ba yung baka meron kayong pwedeng i-share na pinupuntahan?
I'm thankful lang kasi si Kevin, minsan nga gino-joke ko yung mother-in-law ko, sigurado ba kayo na Canadian yung tatay niya? Joke lang yun. Kasi my husband eat sardinas, right? He loves sardines. Sometimes he even bring that, kasi dito sa Canada, iba naman yung sardines nila, di ba? Compared naman sa atin. But we like sardines. Even Mary, my daughter, they like yung mga dried fish, right? Actually, most of the Filipino food, Kevin's likes it. Especially yung mga vegetable. Pinakbet, pumakain siya ng bagoong, minsan yung toyo. Alam mo nga, yung anak ko, tsaka si Kevin, mabubuhay sila sa probinsya pagdating sa Pilipinas. Kasi alam mo yun, ang nakakatuwa pa nga sa kanya, one time nakita ko siya, yung nag-start pa lang kami, yung toyo, niyanis sa kanin. So sabi ko, saan mo natutunan yan? So wala lang, parang feel niya lang. O kaya yung bagoong minsan hinahalo niya sa kanin. Alam mo yung mga ganon. So yun, kumbaga pagdating sa food, wala namang big adjustment. So yun. And my daughter also love yung mga dried fish. Wag lang yung masyadong matinik. So yun.
That's nice. That's nice kasi pag tayo dumupunta rito at karamihan yung mga pag mayroong bagong dating, daing or yung mga danggit, yan ang mga dala, dried pusit.
Oo.
Kami rin kasi yung wife ko taga Pangasinan, so whenever we come back here, parating meron kami mga dried fish and dried puset kanyan. Now, if you don't mind, can I ask you, Sis Reb, do you have any, if you can go back in time, meron ka bang gustong baguhin sa nangyari sa'yo dito sa Canada, dun sa life journey mo, or any regrets for coming when you came here dito sa Canada?
Siguro hindi naman regrets, but probably I can say experience. Siguro yung pagiging hindi kasi katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, Brother Eric, yung pagtitipid or magtitipid ka man, pero at least you know where you gonna put your money, right? Kasi yun yung kulang sa akin eh. Nung dumating ako dito sa Canada, single pa lang ako. Syempre, I help my family back home. Alam mo yung, tandang-tanda ako talaga noon, yung first apartment na inistayin ko sa Toronto. Malapit doon sa Canadian Tire. Alam mo yung tipong every Friday, hanapin ko na yung flyers, titingnan ko na kung ano yung sale. That's the biggest mistake. Kasi una, wala pa akong bahay, bakit ako bili ng gamit? Kaya nung nag-asawa ako, sabi ng husband ko, wala ka pa namang bahay, di ba? Bakit you have a lots of stuff? Di ba? Kung babalikan ko, yun dapat yung nakorek ko. Kung alam ko na before na kung saan dapat ilagay o magtipid, di ba? Parang ganun. Kasi mas maraming na-accumulate na gamit na hindi naman talaga kailangan. Kaysa yung naipon, di ba? So I think that's the biggest mistakes na naging hindi ako marunong magtipid. So yun.
Nakakatuwa rin kasi, in a way na tayo, may mga mistakes tayo na nagawa during the life journey natin. And kami rin mag-asawa, minsan, nag-uusap kami ngayon na yung mga pinagdaanan namin. So sometimes, yung especially sa case natin, right, may mga, clients or new immigrants or whatnot na kinakausap tayo, na i-share natin yung mga mistakes na to na in a way they can also learn from it, right? Parang magandang experience na hindi na nila gawin yon at pinagdaanan na kasi natin. Now, sis, last question. Now, any advice dun sa mga kababayan natin na nag-iisip pumunta dito or mga bago na nandito, especially ngayon, 'di ba? Alam mo naman na recession na, unemployment is up, and medyo mahirap talaga ang buhay in a way dito sa Canada sa panahon ngayon compared dun sa nung tayo dumating, 'di ba? I don't know sa case mo, pero sa akin kasi, looking back, it was easier versus ngayon, right? So kung meron kang may advice, paki-share.
Okay, so kasi we need to be clear kung ano yung goals natin in the next 5 to 10 years. Yeah, we have recession right now. Actually, nung nag-i-start pa din naman kahit ako, paycheck to paycheck, di ba? Nandun na yun given na yun Pero ang ma-advise ko lang, and based on my experience, we need to be clear. Actually, makakatulong, ewan ko kasi ito na natutunan ko din to dun sa mga past experience ko na to create a vision board. I don't know if you heard. Vision board, bakit? Ilalagay mo lang doon, sabi nga nila, walang walang limit ang mangarap, di ba? So ilalagay mo lang doon sa vision board na yun, ano yung gusto mong mangyari in the next 5-10 years. Right? Igay mo yung short and long term. And then ngayon, sa sitwasyon mo ngayon, paano mo ma-reach yung mga goals na yan, yung mga nakalagay na yan sa vision board, right? Kung halimbawa ngayon, short sa yung income yung income pumapasok, ano yung pwede mong gawin? Right? And that's one of the reason why we have like financial educator like us or any nakakilala mo na talagang marunong mag-manage ng hihingi ka magsisik ka ng guidance. At the same time, kung ano yung kung kulang, kailangan maghanap ng side hustle, right? Or anything na it will help you, o paano ba mag-budget, paano ba, alam mo yun, yung simpleng kape-kape na yan, di ba? Alam mo, small amount matters. Pag nag-accumulate yan in a month, in a year, that's a big chunk pagdating sa expenses, right? Minsan kasi inuna natin yung mga wants natin, minsan hindi na natin kailangan, pero dahil si friend may ganito, ganyan, mas inuuna natin yun kesa yung mas-set aside ng konti, di ba? Parang ganon. Same time, pag alam mo na kasi, pag nakikita mo kasi yung vision board mo, parang mayroon kang dahilan every single day, even you feel struggle, you feel problems. But if you always focus of where are you going, it always give you a drive, give you a motivation every single day. Kumbaga, hindi ka lang fired up today, hindi ka lang inspired today, but continuous every single day. There's something to remind you bakit kailangan mong to move on. Diba? Yes, meron tayong problema, pero sabi nga nila, huwag tatambayan ng problema, di ba? Ano lang, kumbaga, yeah, I think you need to accept the problem and create a plan or take action. Paano masusolusyonan yung problema? And then you keep moving forward, not backward, right? And always pray, Lord, guide me, how I can, how I can surpass yung sitwasyon na to. Kasi I really believe that every problem, every struggle that we face, there's always a reason behind that. Right? Do you agree with me, bro?
Agree, sis. Doon sa mga nasabi mo, those are some of the stuff na I also do in my daily life. Vision board. Kasi subconsciously, it also parang affects you. Pagka nakikita mo yung mga goals mo, like you said, it's a source of inspiration, motivation especially when you're facing so many challenges and difficulties. And let's be honest with ourselves, talagang constant yan eh. But you learn from those challenges and looking at that vision board, your picture, kahit picture ng pamilya mo, it's a motivation to never give up and move forward. Especially nung pumunta tayo dito sa Canada, it's a new country, kung bago ka, at constant yan, basta wag ka lang susuko. Anyhow, maraming salamat sa time mo, sis. Part 2.
It's my pleasure. It's a great privilege for me to share my journey kasi every lahat tayo merong sariling story to tell, story to share that might help others. So yun lang. And maybe I can I don't know kung nasama ba dun sa i-share ko lang tong
Go ahead.
Bible.
Yes, please. Yeah.
This is from James chapter 1 verse 12. Lord, it says here, blessed is the one who endures trials. Okay? Bakit ko lang i-touch, there's a lot of touch point doon sa verse na yon. First is endure. Bakit endure? Means to suffer patiently, right? When you endure the hardship, when you endure with perseverance, right? And that trial will later on we will realize that those trials and struggles that we face, it will become blessing later on. Right? So yeah, just live of faith and keep, live of faith, tawag dito, live of faith, not fear. and we believe that God is always there to guide us, and and we will become blessing to others too.
All right, galing, ang galing. What a great way to end yung ating episode ngayon with Sis Revelyn dito sa Kape, Kwentuhan at Canada. With the Bible verse, nakakatuwang isipin na, someone like Sis Revelyn, yung sa kanyang life journey na i-share niya sa atin. And sana meron tayong mapulot na lessons dito sa kanyang life journey. And for sure meron dahil, marami siyang napagdaanan pero marami na rin siyang naging success dito sa buhay niya dito sa Canada by having faith kay Lord, striving hard, and never ever giving up. Again, maraming salamat, sis, sa iyong time. Thank you, and God bless.
Bro. Thank you, Brother Eric. God bless you too. Thank you.
Thank you.